Hi, and welcome to the Beer Temple. I am Chris Quinn, going solo here today, and I have got a double IPA from Denmark to review. Gonna get to that real quick, but wanted to give my shout outs to two people who have actually given 5-star reviews a little while back, but they jumped so far up in the priority list on iTunes that I actually missed them and didn't realize it. So I apologize, guys. Navy Mike, thank you so much. And also Hugh Lewis, I will spare you the 80s band joke. I'm sure you get it all the time. I'll just say thank you. And sorry I missed that, guys. You have my humblest apologies. And thank you so much. You guys both wrote really, really nice reviews. So much so that they're now ranked as the #1 and 2 reviews on iTunes. So there you go. I mean, I guess that's a little trade-off. You know, you guys are #1 and 2, but a little bit delayed on the thanks. But yeah, if anyone leaves a 5-star review, I will give you a shout out on the show. It just might take a little bit. Moving on to the actual beer at hand here. So this is a beer from Mikkeller, and I haven't had them on in the past, I don't think, for a couple reasons. First, let me talk about Mikkeller. I'm kind of jumping all over here, so just bear with me. Mikkeller is a brewery from Denmark, somewhat from Denmark, but really it is a guy, Mikkel Bjorn Borg or something like that. I'm sorry, it's not fair, but he's got a very hard name for an American to pronunciate, and it's Mikkel Bjorn something, but everyone just calls him Mikkel. He is a gypsy brewer, and he really doesn't have a brewery of his own. This kind of gypsy brewing concept is becoming a little bit more popular in the last couple of years, Stillwater being another one. But Mikkeller was really the first big one that I knew of and I had heard of. And he just goes around to other breweries and basically either collaborates with them or rents out the time on their brewing equipment, or both, and puts out his beers that way. So he just kind of travels all over the country, and all over the world, I should say, and puts out an amazing variety of beers. Highly prolific. Beers that he's had a lot of success with are the single hop and single yeast series. He had the same beer single hopped with, oh man, probably 15 or more different varieties of hop. Pretty interesting. So yeah, just a really, really cool concept. My issues with Mikkeller are really, they're pretty hit or miss, I find. Sometimes you can get an amazing beer, and sometimes you can get, a beer that's really pretty lackluster to me. But I really admire the fact that he's out there doing this and just putting out new stuff constantly. He's not sitting back on the same 1 or 2 tried and true recipes. He's constantly pumping out new beers. Really, really cool. The other issue, or a couple more issues, is his stuff is pretty pricey. So personally, in what I drink, I'll if I have a Mikkeller beer, I'll often have it out at a bar, and I just think it's more conducive to kind of paying the higher prices. And also, he doesn't date any of his stuff. I don't know if it's because he's using other people's bottling equipment or what, but he doesn't really put a date on it. I don't think he does, unless this is a date up here. I don't think it is. So it's really hard to know if you're getting fresh beer or not, especially with some of these big hoppy beers. He's had a lot of, the single hop series is very hop based. He's had an 1,000 IBU beer that you can go out there and try to find. A lot of very, very hoppy, very American style beers. That's another thing about a Mikkeller. Much more so than German, English, or Belgian, traditional styles or breweries from those areas. He is much more in line with the American craft beer movement, always innovating, always trying new things, profiling American hop varietals, big imperial versions of classic styles, like this double imperial pale ale. So it's not, so it's called Hop Burn High. There's actually a little switch there. It's like a little hop on a stove, and right there's the dial, and it's set to high. You probably would think that doesn't matter, but there's a hop burn low as well. I don't know the difference between the two. Yeah, so what style of beer is this? You would think, okay, IPA, Imperial Pale Ale, India Pale Ale. So this is a double Imperial Pale Ale. It's just kind of a joke, I assume. He's just trying to be funny. There's no such style as a double Imperial Pale Ale. Usually double or Imperial are used, one or the other. And an Imperial Pale Ale is usually just called an IPA, or India Pale Ale, I should say. But, you know, I think it was, Mikkeller's beers are ones that are out there and are worth trying, and I thought that the show was really missing something by not having a Mikkeller beer yet, so I wanted to do it. This is a pricey beer, that's the other thing. So I'm getting one of these big hoppy beers. I don't know the date on it, just walking into the store, and it costs $7 a bottle. That's pretty typical for Mikkeller. I mean, it's not out of the ordinary. So you can see why I'm a little gun shy to get some of these beers at times. But from all the research I did after getting the beer, the moment I noticed it on the shelf, I snagged it, so I knew it hadn't been sitting around on the shelf at the store for a while at least. And then going online and looking, it appears like it hit the States for the first time a little over a month ago, maybe 6 weeks ago. So who knows how long it took to get here? Who knows when it was actually brewed? I know it was released in late December out in Denmark or Europe somewhere. But I don't know if that was the production batch or just a test batch or what. My guess is that even if it was December, you know, we're still, you know, for a double Imperial Pale Ale, hopefully it will hold up a little bit. It's going on about 90 days now. This beer was brewed and bottled by Mikkeller at De Proef, who is a brewery in Belgium who actually does a lot of the beers that Mikkeller does. I would say that's as much of his home brewery as any. So let's get to the beer. It is called Hopburn High, technically, and it is a 10% alcohol double Imperial Pale Ale, and it's also an 11.2 ounce bottle. So $7 for an 11.2 ounce bottle. Okay, what are we getting here? Really nice hazy, well, really nice. It's a hazy golden orange, however I'm supposed to say it. Good amount of carbonation. I mean, you can see there's a lot of really like kind of foamy, sudsy bubbles at the top, and it's not going away. It's really staying there, almost like a dollop. Pretty viscous head. So, nice looking beer. A little bit of haze to it. A lot of hops here. So the hops certainly haven't faded. I'm getting a lot of orange with like a really sharp lemon. It's almost like a little needle in my nose of like lemony, almost like Mr. Clean or something in there. I'm also getting just a lot of the resinous, more dank flavors as well, but overall, yeah, I mean, tropics, quite a bit of one side of the hop. I'm not getting a lot of the pine, the earth, the wood, the herbaceous. I'm getting a lot of the tropical or citrus and tropical. Yeah, and I do kind of like that underlying, just really sharp lemony flavor. It's nice. Okay. Wow. All right, so very big beer. I would certainly classify this beer as a double IPA. One of the bigger double IPAs, that kind of what I call Midwest style double IPA, like the Dreadnought, Arctic Panzer, which I've had on before, or the Hop Slam, the Bell's Hop Slam. It's kind of a cousin to that beer. A lot of hop flavor, a ton of it. Citrusy, lemon, orange, a lot of those same flavors with a good amount of body, a pretty thick mouthfeel to it, and a lot of residual sweetness as well to back it up. Really, I'm not getting a lot of malty flavors, but more kind of sweet caramelly flavors underlying the hops to kind of offset them. Not a huge amount of perceivable bitterness. I'm sure the IBUs in this thing are through the roof. It does kind of creep up on you, but it's almost like there's just so much hops on your tongue that it's really just a showcase for hops. Yeah, a little bit of vegetal character as well. A little bit of astringency or tannic quality underlying it as well. But really, you know, ton of hops here. Is it worth $7? I'll let you guys decide on your own. For me personally, would I buy another bottle of this for $7? No. You know, a Hop Slam, as I was just comparing it to, is $15 or $16 a six-pack, which is not cheap. It's actually a lot. But I feel it's every bit the beer that this is. It's much more local to me, although it is a seasonal, but it's also dated. I can see how fresh the beer is. It's much less of a crapshoot. And it costs about the same as 2 bottles of this. I can get 6 bottles of Hop Slam. But, you know, if this is a beer that you just absolutely can't live without, then hey, it's worth $7. What am I going to give this beer? You know, I really don't take, pardon me, I really don't take price into consideration when scoring these beers. And I'm going to go 92 with this. I think this would actually be really good. Sometimes Margaret mentions that she likes big hoppy IPAs with desserts. I think this is a perfect one. It's got that sweetness. I think if you had it, one of Margaret's favorites is carrot cake. If you had it with a carrot cake with a nice icing on top, it would go beautifully with this, especially because some of this bitterness that's kind of creeping up on me now would be cut by the sweetness of the food. Cheese, something with a little bit of fat to it, I think would complement this beer very, very much. I think it almost needs a little bit of food, although, you know, a lot of great hop character going on there. Certainly American varietal, so not a surprise there. So there you go. This is the Hop Burn High by Mikkeller, and there you have it. I'm sure that's not the last time we'll have Mikkeller on here. I've got a couple things from my cellar, at the very least, that I'm sure to bring up. But until then, keep the comments coming on iTunes, or you know, just hit me up with an email. You guys do that quite often, and I love hearing from you guys just on email. I think it's at the bottom of the page here. Or just Facebook me, Twitter, whatever you want. Until next time, I've got an expensive Danish beer to drink, and hopefully you do too.